evening, and welcome to the Psychic Coffee Shop. We're going to be having some fun tonight talking about some yoga. How are you, darling? Welcome to your new book. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Shall I show you?
Yes, please show it
Okay,
all.
she is. Yes, it does show it. Almost all. I mean, it shows
Right.
all my soul. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I just opened
definitely.
up on our opportunity to connect with the divine. So shall we?
Right. And that's what yoga does, is it brings out a lot of things. So how did you get into yoga?
My mother took me on a silent retreat in one of those VWs that you just had on your. It was
Mm-hmm.
a VW bus. I live in Boulder, Colorado. I'm from Boulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm back
Right.
home in Boulder, but I live above a mountain. I live on top of a mountain,
How lovely.
distancing from Boulder. Yeah, it's
Right.
very beautiful. You must come and
Oh,
visit me.
yes. Oh,
It's
I'd love to come out.
it's a mining town. It's an old mining town that is like
Mm-hmm.
so unheard of,
Right.
um, and doesn't exist. And everywhere I go, everything I think is like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is
Yeah.
cool. So mom took me to a silent retreat and we got kicked out. So that was the first sign of, oh, I'm not going to pay much attention to the leadership here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to have fun with yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Yoga is, and then I went to New York and I had to do yoga. I
Uh-huh.
I lived on Horatio in 14, just below 14th Street, next to the Integral Yoga Center. And it was like, you have to do yoga to
Right.
survive a modeling career. Yeah, I mean, otherwise you're going to be jealous. You're going to have all the five bad things that they say in the Bhagavad Gita. Don't be like this: desire, jealousy, anger.
Mm-hmm.
What are the other two? Who knows? You can just name
Uh-huh.
them. And
Right.
this is how it is. So I had to change my diet, had to get a yoga practice, and luckily it was right there, and I could do
Right.
that. And that was awesome.
Right.
In New
It
York
is.
in the 80s, baby. New
Oh,
York
back when it
in
was
the
fun
80s.
and modeling could be fun and
We
everything
had
wasn't like how many followers do you have?
nothing like this day today.
Yeah.
In the sense of that influence, we were influencers for sure,
Oh yeah.
but it was more like this. It
Yeah.
was more like the natural. And
Right.
and there's a section in this book that talks about how to stay natural with
Mm-hmm.
Stop Kriya, which is a practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah. Greatest men, women,
Mm-hmm.
kids. We were kids, so it
Right.
just didn't. We borrowed each other's clothes. I
Yeah.
mean, that's all we did. It
Yeah.
wasn't, and we juiced. I still juice every day, but
Mm-hmm.
we were healthy.
Yeah.
You know, we were
You were
healthy.
much
We
more
we danced.
healthier. The foods were
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
You worked your ass off.
yeah,
Especially back in the 80s when you were modeling and
yeah,
performing and
yeah,
catwalks and
yeah,
magazines and calls and this appointment and that appointment. You had to be thumping and who knows. Now granted, back in the 80s, that is when we had stilettos at 8.5 inches, and if
yeah,
you couldn't walk in them, we ain't got time for you today.
yeah. We had to dance in them actually.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't even have
Yeah.
to. I mean, you did have, but luckily, I was more like a magazine girl. So I
Okay.
didn't, editorial. So I didn't walk those heavy duty Paris shows where the
Right.
women, my friends, had to rebuild their feet.
Hmm.
Literally what you're talking about.
Right.
And so, with yoga, yoga gets you into those really sexy shoes like
Hmm.
Birkenstocks and Clarks. And it was
Well,
like, I'm
comfy
not
shoes.
having any of that either.
Yeah.
It was I don't know. I don't cozy shoes. What I love now is just
Right.
a cool
Yeah.
sneaker, right? I mean,
Well, I don't
that's
know. If
it.
my back starts hurting, yeah, I could grab a pair of my heels and they go on, and my back doesn't hurt as much as when I'm in clogs anymore.
Yes, yes, yes. A little bit of a heel
Mm-hmm.
pushes that bum up a little
Mm-hmm.
and gives you just about a perfect balance. So that's,
Right.
Kundalini Yoga is what I teach, and it's,
Uh-huh.
and it's what I live. So it's
Right.
angles and triangles. So
Right.
it's like, how, what can I clean? What can I organize? How can I sort this one?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm doing that with the brain is doing that, right left hemisphere of the brain. So when you
Mm-hmm.
rub your palms, you're balancing right left hemisphere. So of course we weren't into that
Right.
type. We were just doing what we could do, but we were very happy. We were happy
Right.
back
And
then.
you were very much probably working with like flow yoga and floor yoga and the base yogas that are very popular in the US. And
Yeah,
then when
yeah.
did you go to India?
Later, much
Yeah.
later. So I was invited to India with a teacher that wanted to she wanted to mentor me and sort me
Mm-hmm.
out. So she said, you must come to India. Yoga is your destiny. You've got to become a teacher. And she said
Mm-hmm.
all this after maybe I took one class with her and had never met her before. So she's
Right.
like, she just read it. And, it was on
Mm-hmm.
top of Mulholland Drive. She told me all this. And I'm a yes. I'm a yes. When they gave me
Mm-hmm.
the one-way ticket to Paris, those two creepy
Mm-hmm.
agents that came to Denver, I said
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Right.
I just didn't, I don't really research
Right.
at that. I didn't at that time. I do more now, but people kind of tell me anyway. It's like
Right.
it's like we just get told.
Right.
There's a protection in yoga. You
Oh
do
yeah.
it long enough, this protector right here, this yogic
Mm-hmm.
practice
Right.
protects you because you open your psyche and
Mm-hmm.
you open your intuition and you're like, wait a minute, give me
Mm-hmm.
9 seconds. And if I don't know the answer, I'm going to wait. So, those things do come out of a traditional yogic practice that's taught so many thousands of years ago with
Mm-hmm.
Kundalini Yoga. So
Right.
it is a science. There is a way we use our mind. There is a
Mm-hmm.
formula. It's numbers. The architect is the numbers, right? The
Mm-hmm.
formula.
Right.
So the foundation, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
going to build your house. I built a log cabin.
Right.
I couldn't have done that without, my dad bringing in his team of stone people, right? That
Right.
happened to be the wrestling team from, high school. His best
Right.
friend was the coach, and he had 7 sons. And
Mm-hmm.
they built my foundation
Mm-hmm.
as they drove up on their Harleys.
Right.
So
So
that's
mm,
yoga. So the foundation we're
it
talking.
does. But, we're dealing with Kundalini Yoga here. Now,
Mm.
in the New Age practices, I'm going to separate because there's yoga practices, spiritual practices, New Age practices. They're all scared of raising this Kundalini energy that all these things will occur to you. You'll become loud and, have all these energy problems. Yeah, you know the drill. You've heard people, I'm sure, say that. How much bullshit's in that?
How what? Say it
How much
again.
bullshit's in that?
How much BS is in that?
Yeah, how much fear
I
creation is in that?
just, I just realized that you can make any story up and believe it and blame it on something else. You can do that with everything you decide to do. And especially when you fall in love,
Mm-hmm.
then those things you sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
And when you fall into that, so the base of the spine, tailbone, is where
Mm-hmm.
the pent up, coiled up energy, just a little bit of sun,
Yeah.
is pent up. Okay, tailbone.
Right.
Tailbone, you're a dancer. You tilt your
Right.
tailbone, you don't walk.
Right.
You don't walk straight until you bring it into balance again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're in a balance. So maybe, just maybe, the place that's discomfortable and isn't the same as what you were yesterday, or even that minute before this awakening happens, you don't freak out, okay? You just say, okay, this is a gift. This is what I've asked for. This is what I did the breath of fire for. This is what I'm awakening my 10 bodies with. This is what I'm doing.
Right.
Do I just want to leave a hot yoga class and feel good for 20 minutes and then I'm so taxed? Also, because your liver is so overstressed from doing so many back bends and so many, formulated asana postures, and you hold for a short amount of time. But in Kundalini Yoga, you do things much longer. You hold your arms out with your rib cage, with this dungeon. You dance, right? You dance. I was in Ibiza, by the way. I went to a convention in Ibiza, and in May, best time of my life, even beats Studio 54. And that energy, because the best disco, the best DJ comes out at 3 a.m. and you get there at 1. So it's a whole, you're waiting, and everyone's applauding each other for the steps you're taking to get to the best DJ, to deliver you the download without any alcohol or you don't have to have anything. You just are you. And that, whatever you want to do, you can do. But I'm just saying, you're enough to squeeze out the best of you with this sacred practice. And I say sacred because I'm a bhakti yogi. So I've been told that. So I'm a devotional yogi. So I give thanks, a lot. Even, my mother-in-law said, you're the most appreciative young lady. That was when I was 27 that I've ever met. You just appreciate everything, and that meant a lot to me to hear that from her. And, because you do need to give gratitude.
Right.
It's not a cliche to say I've got so much gratitude for this podcast. Thank you so much for having me on.
Very much, honey. You're very welcome. I really enjoy sitting down and talking and sharing experiences.
Yeah, me too.
Bringing things to the table, like yoga in America has been really washed down because it's more than just moving your body, flexing your muscles, getting your bones and joints in rhythm, and finding and opening up energy ways there. When we go to India, it's a full life invasive practice that is just it's more than moving the body. It's the mind, the 10 bodies. It's how you deal with life, how you focus life. Why do you think there's so much a difference here?
When you go to India, this is what you're talking about, when people don't understand what's happened to them, so they assume it's the Kundalini.
Right.
I wish I could say it was the Kundalini. You would be so lucky to have that awakening in this lifetime. A lot of energy is in India. So just when you get off the plane, have you been to India?
I haven't yet. No, I've not gone.
We will go. Oh my God, I'd love to take you to India. You would just love India. It's Hanuman, the great monkey, and the open, everything is devotional. When you go to Kathmandu, there's a Buddha on every corner, and they bow to each one. So it's a country of devotion, but it has a lot of diversity in it. So there's so many parts of India that are, making the money, the big banks, Bombay. And I knew a lot of those people, and they put me up. I happened to host somebody here in my house, and
Uh-huh.
An Indian man who owned, the Regency Hyatt in India and the Yak and Yeti in Kathmandu, Mr. Saraf. And luckily I hosted him because luckily for him, I hosted him so he could come up to the high country, but also, I didn't want a regal man like that going to those pathetic little, places down in Boulder to,
Yeah.
to stay.
Yeah,
I
they're
want
not
to
the
have an
best.
experience. I want experience
Right.
for everybody. So India, and I always go alone to India, yet I teach and I meet people at the International Yoga Festival in Rishikesh. But babe, it's the in between the lines of the sonnet that switch you up. It's how you deal with the awakening when it breathes you in and says, okay, it's your turn to wake up this lifetime. You get to do that. You get to find your destiny. What's the most important thing? Purpose. But if you don't have to go to India to find that. But India for me, 7 times in 7 straight years was necessary. There was, maybe you can call it karma. Maybe you could call it my invitation. Whatever you want to call it, call it. But what I do know is I put my dad's ashes in the Mata Ganga. I carried them across. And I did know that it liberated him. And I also know that 7 generations before us are sending me to India and to help the 7 generations to come.
Right.
And I'm so psyched about that because when when the babies are born now, they are just to be listened to. And
they do come in a lot more enlightened.
Yeah. So I think that, come to me, guys out there, girls out there, that you feel like you've had an awakening, please reach out. Reach out, because there have been so many that have, luckily for them, we've found something to do with this energy when the youngins didn't have, like when I was in New York at that age, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And had this awakening is so strong, like it is for many young people, and it doesn't matter the age. Young people don't have parents that understand. 19, 18, 17-year-old women come to find me, and I sit with them and I listen to their stories, and their parents don't understand, so they're devastated and they try to push it away.
Right.
And that's different than letting go.
Yeah, it is. Like, pushing it away is not, paying attention, allowing things to be that way. Letting it be, or letting it wash over, tends to be a lot easier for people to get. But it also doesn't create those soul quaking situations. Because it's like letting a pot cook, because it just needs to cook sometimes. Like, a tea kettle will boil eventually. But if you just leave it alone, it'll do it much faster than if you're in there fiddling with it all the time.
Or waiting for it.
Yes. Like, don't ever wait for a teapot to boil. It will never whistle until you walk away. And sometimes that's a hard lesson for people to get, is letting the pot boil, letting things fixate and organize as they need to.
Sweetheart, we get sick, okay? We get congested. We fly everywhere, and we pick up germs, and there's nothing we can do about it except rest and let it be, and try not to medicate first and foremost. Get something out of this education it's giving you to get well, to feel well. Because when you walk out of a meditation, you see things differently.
You do.
All the time. when you walk out, when you sit in sadhana in the morning, talk about that a lot in my books. When you wake up for sadhana, and it's just you and, you know, your blanket and your fireplace, if you're burning, you know, say whatever it is, whatever you do, a cup of tea, whatever you do is deliberately you.
Right.
You're not, because you don't do your habits during that early morning hour before the sun rises. They do you, your habits. So you observe that tendency to push things away, to rush it, to watch the mind when you're chanting, right? You love music, right? Music brought me to Kundalini Yoga. The music.
Oh, yeah.
It's phenomenal because, you know, the lower chakras are not active in the early morning hours. The upper chakras are more available to raise the frequency of your being.
Right.
Once you pare away, so the building of the lower chakras, the first, second, third, fourth body, the soul body, the negative mind, positive mind, and neutral mind, heart, get a bunch of sittings, and then you eventually get elevated with these mantras of wagadu, 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 wagadu. You say it enough, your mind finally goes, okay, I surrender.
Right.
You know? And it doesn't matter how I'm chanting, I'm just chanting and I'm singing. And finally, you know, my authentic voice is coming out and I'm hearing her. And it's not like my mother, who is an opera singer, but it's pretty darn close when you're in that frequency of your own authentic, you know, belonging, longing. Yeah.
No. You know, and then, you know, allowing that to be able to be balanced and organized and giving yourself that time to restructure your brain, to adapt to the energy of the plane you're in. Sometimes people get stuck at that first step of allowing yourself to restructure that brain, of restructuring all that, well, I gotta do, shoulda do, coulda do, woulda do's that you wake up with.
Right. Exactly. And that's why when you wake up with all that, thank it.
Right.
Juicy, good stuff, because I can now sit with it. Put Japji on, Song of the Soul, Guru Nanak, first Guru, you know, put him in a field, tried to milk the cows. He went down to the Bodhi tree and started, you know, chanting with a musician, you know, and wanting and bringing peace to the world.
Right.
You know, yoga is peace, not pieces.
Exactly. And it is peace of finding comfort in the body, opening the body up. Because I don't care if it's clothing or if it is office style or setting style, whatever it is, it will cause you to lock down, to shut down, to stop the breathing. Like we're all taught to, like, I don't know, for probably the past 20 years, we've been like holding our breath, waiting for the next shoe, the next problem, working through all this trauma that has occurred in this country and continues to occur throughout the world. And it's just like everyone is not taking that deep vibrating breath. And I think your book really addresses that.
Oh, thank you so much. I would be the only, you know, miracle that I could give you if you're saying is your breath back.
Right.
I realized, because I went through tragedy and trauma so young when I lost my sister, and I talk about it in the book, only because no one taught me how to deal with that.
Right.
I had to teach myself. I mean, now, thank God, there's so many beings teaching workshops on trauma and healing grief. And there's, you know, I have a whole section on how to heal grief. And I do workshops on and bring professional, even body workers that we can release the sass to heal the grief. That's where we store it. So there's a lot of back pain. There's with grief. There's a lot of, the obesity with grief. There's a lot of the lungs, right? So we're trying to knit this rib cage, to open it, expand it, inhale, exhale, to give it some flexibility again in between those ribs, because those barnacles. I mean, I'm working with that right now, and sometimes it doesn't feel good.
No.
And you think something's wrong. I've got to get an x-ray, or I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And I say, let's just give it a breath.
Right.
If you can get below it, we can get below where that stuck breath is. If we can go way down deep into that, under the belly button, and just explode the navel point out, big Buddha belly, and then exhale, knit the ribs in, pull the chin in, feel that, then we can open up to the possibility of growing this awareness of how to breathe. And then, like you said, the most important thing was catching your breath.
Yeah.
Catching yourself not breathing.
Yeah.
And because Kath died, my sister, are you kidding me? Chills today. There's just like, I kept her so alive in me.
Right.
Sometimes I look in the mirror and say, wow, is that you? Because we were just so close, only 15 months apart. So there was just such a beautiful relationship, and besties. So, where do you go? What do you do with that grief? How do you deal with when you had the perfect family and there's no one in the family that can understand what you're going through?
Right.
The collective, that was always the group. There was always and the family were my best friends, and so I'm still super sensitive about my family, how much I love my family.
Right.
But sometimes India is a better family for me now. Right. Sometimes harder, brothers and sisters, mindfully, who are doing, their work to understand you, to love you unconditionally, no matter what. But, the whole family, families fall apart when the matriarch dies.
They do, but oftentimes the universe, the energy, whatever you want to call it, whatever marketing title the latest marketers decided to slap on it, goes, oh, well, you need to go into a village. There's a village, here's a new mom here, and it doesn't pace that pain. It doesn't fix that pain, but someone else takes one of those job responsibilities and creates that. A lot of people use the term chosen family. I prefer universal family.
Me too. You would love the work I do with the mind. The universal family is called the Chitta, Chitta. And it's got all these aspects to it and all these projections to it. But I want to go back to the village. You talked about the village. We do talk about the village, and we talk about the community. It's called Sangat, in the Punjabi way, the Sangat, the community. And they fall apart too, by the way. Egos, right? So when you go to a chosen or universal family now, that are all working on themselves, and they don't know your story, you only know your story.
Right.
They only just lean into you, asking you, like you asked me, these pertinent questions to bring forth a conversation for your audience.
Right.
To tell them there's a way through every block. Just start. And trust. And so sometimes we don't ever blame a family member or somebody who couldn't keep up with your program because they're working on their program.
Exactly.
And how we're programmed is not alike. It's not even similar sometimes. Maybe I look like my brother Chuck a lot, but he's an NFL football coach, you know?
Right.
You know, but brother Chuck and brother John, you know, and they, you know, Chuck wrote a book, I'm looking at it right here, called Sidelined, because he got leukemia.
Right.
He got leukemia the year he was hired at the Colts. So, you know, he had to get an interim, you know, coach, Bruce, who just took us all the way to the playoffs, and Chuck got well through all the ratings and got to come out and coach Andrew Luck in the playoffs, you know, so, and stayed 7 years with the Colts and built the Chuck Strong Foundation that takes care of all children with cancer. How do we get these opportunities from being sick?
By being able to look back and see what we can do, by resetting our lifestyle, by resetting our world. Because Lord knows, every time I get sick, there are changes ahead. Promise you, you know, pull back the work, change the schedule, rotate the schedule.
Yes. Doing too much, maybe, right? Got to pull back. Too much, you know, it gets, okay, so it gets super exciting. You publish a book, right? And you're like, okay, now I've got to publish the book and I've got to go to Costa Rica because I teach my retreat right 2 weeks after the book comes out. And then I've got to do all this stuff there. And then I've the groups, you know, and people need a lot. And it's a beautiful place, by the way, where I teach in Costa Rica. No, Sarah, have you been?
I haven't. I've looked at it to Google Earth because at one point I was debating on whether I wanted to move there.
Yes, great place to live. Many friends have actually moved there. They do some, not full time necessarily, but one musician friend is there full time and just beyond the beyond. You know, it has its everywhere you go, no matter what, there you are. You show up with your shit, you know, you bring you know, it's like tourism. The tourism is pathetic. People bring themselves and their behaviors to the most beautiful beaches and leave trash.
Right. And don't even graft or grow with it.
So, or pick it up.
Or pick it up. So you're getting ready to lead a retreat, I believe. It looks like you're headed where?
Where am I going? No, not necessarily soon. I'm headed to Asheville for a something I'll be teaching there, and then I'm headed to New York, and then but I go to Costa Rica, but I go to my yearly annual retreat is in Costa Rica, December 6th through the 13th, 2025. And you can sign up for that on
the website.
Light on Kundalini, lightonkundalini.com. And same name as my book. And it made it simple for people. And by the way, I just, you know, the guy who designed my book, so Sacred Stories published this book, and Light on Light, where but they've never done a book like this before, because being in the art world, like the dance world, the music world, the creative world, there is just no way that, you know, I could do anything less than what I'm offering you here. because I want to align, and this is what we do, going back to your retreat question.
Right.
This is what we do with you on retreat. You have the
Right.
most magnificent time.
Right.
You enjoy. And we're in a blue zone in Costa Rica. So so the energy is just done for you. It says about yoga, one of the things I want to say is you show up, even if it's 4 o'clock, it's 4:45 in the morning. You show up, 70% of your job is done by just showing up. Everything else will be done for you.
Right.
So you love to go on many more retreats now that the book is out. It's been the last 5 years writing this book, but now I'm ready to. So maybe you're talking about something coming up because you're a psychic.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I was looking at your schedule and it says Costa Rica and it just says 2025. And I'm like, oh, so you got a retreat coming up every Sunday from 9 to 11 Mountain Time. You're live over on Instagram doing yoga.
9 to 10 only, because Instagram only gives you an hour. So I'm 9 to 10 every Sunday, and you get to come to my home with me and sit with me with my protector behind me. You're in my home right now with me, by the way, everyone. And we do wonderful little different things every Sunday, and then I post it so if you can't make it.
Right.
So that's
so then you can watch it.
Kundalini, right? The Instagram account is at Light on Kundalini, and then you can watch it. And I mean, it is awesome if you come live because you can ask me some questions.
Well, if someone's never, well, they have, but if someone hasn't done yoga before, okay, let's dispel some myths. One, it doesn't matter your body. Whether you're 81 pounds or 800 pounds, you can do yoga. Will it require modifications? Yeah. That's what blocks are for. That's what towels are for. Get a good mat.
Your visual. Get a good sheepskin. I do cozy. So I'm not big on, you do use a mat. You should see me in my friends' yoga classes. I'm usually in white long dresses, right? And if there's a yoga class and I'm at a festival teaching and I want to go to Sean's class or something, and she does 50,000 jump throughs and back bends and everything, you don't necessarily do it that easily in a long dress. Right. Let's just face it. You've got to have your tights on, right? So you've got to have your things on. But, I let all that kind of, you said earlier about, I think you were referring to Spanx and spandex and nylon. That really is difficult on your body. So what I do is I ask you, wear cotton.
Yeah.
So your body can breathe you. It doesn't matter who you are and where you're going and what you look like. It's you and your soul. Your soul never judges you. So you can have a mat, you can have a sheepskin. Sheepskins, you can have a wool blanket. It changes your electromagnetic field when you sit on wool. When you wear cotton, and then when you wear white cotton, it just reflects the negativity back out. So color brings attention, as we've so witnessed it at the Met Gala. I mean, it's very rare you're going to, right? And we love that. But that's the Met Gala. Right. We're talking about your personal yogic experience here. We're talking about you squeezing out the best of you. By the way, if physical body can't do a thing, you lay out, I play the gong for you, and you go into the visualization of what is, and that's your painting. You are your canvas. You are your movie screen. And in the midst of all that change, you look at nothing, just zero, just be vacant. And that will change your glandular system. And your glandular system will change the way you talk to people, you listen to people, you don't react so much, you're less emotional and commotional. There's no kind of hard competition any longer.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's you competing with yourself, no longer. It's just you just saying, oh, this is my hair today. No, I'm just going to go. Okay, fine.
Right.
Seriously. You know, and as a matter of fact, that's a lesson.
Right.
That's a lesson in saying, I am what I am. What is that?
Right. You know, but no, you know, for a very long time I had the opinion I can't do yoga because I can't bend like that anymore. And it's like, no, for me, there's a yoga video on YouTube, and I know you've got some out there too. It's called Big Man Yoga, and it's actually shows you how to adapt poses, and you know, yes, the knees need a pad. Yes, you know, maybe you're not doing a headstand or a knee or a full on dog, but you're adapting that to, you know, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. And you can get to a full down dog. You can get to a full warrior stance.
Yeah.
But it takes teaching the body how to breathe, how to move again. And your book goes into that, but it also goes into touching the other parts of your life that you don't think yoga touches, especially Western yoga, like finding order, finding, you know, peace in your mind. And the biggest thing, and I think the hardest thing for anyone to get out of, is carrying, you know, is my hand in the right position? Is my arm stretched at the right end? That's the hardest thing. Do you have that problem with your students?
You know, I don't know. I think I have such amazing people. I think maybe they're forewarned. But I teach a lot of triathletes. And, you know, when they started to chant Satanama, Satanama, they're like, what in the world, right? Or Satana on breath walk on the beach. We just move and stride and we're balancing right left. So when they come in with their agendas, we do have a lot of sit down time to ask questions. And, you know, empowering everybody's question is the way to give an answer, because everybody is right to ask us this question right then and there. It's like we know we were meant to meet tonight. We knew that. And it's a sacred, you know, membership when you know that. And it's celebrating this oneness that, so anyone that comes to class knows that they're going to get me. And I'm going to give that to them. And I come with cold myself. I come, you know, with sore back. I show up because I learned how to show up. I didn't always think you should show up like that. I mean, you shouldn't come, you know, if you're sick and you're contagious, obviously, but if you're not and you're just working through stuff, then, you know, come as you are and ask as many questions as you can. The rigidity you were talking about in like Iyengar and Anasara, and, you know, and the jumping through of, you know, from posture to posture, I learned super early on, you've got to straighten out your knees after each posture. You can't, you can jump through, but we're not Eastern bodies. We're not India. Those boys and girls can do yoga like you've never seen yoga being done before.
But they're doing it at age 2.
They're doing it at age 2, and they're not heating a room even. So my philosophy was like, I had to live for the Mother Earth. I live in nature. I have to feel the breath of the trees. I can't be robbing
Mm-hmm.
The electrical system to heat my body for me. I have to heat my body. And what heats the body?
The soul does. Yeah.
And the breath.
Yeah.
The breath and the soul together, there's your dance.
Mm-hmm.
It's so beautiful to live like this. And so the garden just keeps growing.
Mm-hmm.
What feeds the plant? The
Right.
sun, the light on Kundalini, the light of Kundalini, the awareness, the awakening. So
Mm-hmm.
you just take, it's stride by stride. But I think India taught me how to go to the Gurdwara, taught
Mm-hmm.
me how to bow, taught me how to put my feet away from the altar when I do my layout, so my toes aren't right in front of the teacher, taught me
Mm-hmm.
respect,
Right.
taught me, we so take things for granted, like we said about the tourists. We just
Mm-hmm.
keep acting out how we are. And if we ever want to change, we
Right.
need a retreat. We need to see ourselves for 7 days, because the day you booked a retreat, the
Mm-hmm.
moment you book a retreat, it starts working on you.
Yes.
You don't even have to contact me,
Mm-hmm.
but the moment you it's just the funniest thing. And
Mm-hmm.
they work on you, the 10 gurus work on you.
Right.
And, there's no hierarchy, but
Right.
there is never been a living guru in Kundalini Yoga after Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th guru. That was it.
Right.
Because the situation isn't calling, it's calling for the ancient wisdom of pranayama, of asana, asana movement in the way in which pranayama starts it. Navel
Mm-hmm.
point adjusts, solar plexus open up, and and chin goes in, and the Julanda, the neck lock is so aligned with the craniosacral that you're just
Mm-hmm.
basically doing acupuncture, acupressure, massage your whole practice, during your whole practice.
Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of modalities occurring all at one time.
Oh, so and you can't keep up with them, human beings.
Mm-mm.
You can't keep up with those modalities. You just have to
Mm-hmm.
let those modalities go. What a great point you made.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
that's huge.
darling, where can they get your book at?
So Amazon. So it's
Amazon's got it?
yeah, Amazon's got it, and it was number
Mm-hmm.
one on the yoga chart. So
Cool.
that was awesome. And Barnes and Noble,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And
And
they can
there's
go
a
to your
few.
website, which is below the screen here. Just you can get
Thank
onto
you,
her all
thank
her
you, thank
stuff.
you. Yes.
Um,
And I have a manual coming out in 2 weeks.
ooh,
So it's
awesome.
a companion manual. And so you
Uh-huh.
get to see a 50-year plus woman doing yoga with you. Hello.
Yeah.
And, like how we started our
Mm-hmm.
conversation, anybody can do a yogic practice. I'm very interested to share the indigenous aspect of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Indigenous, and it's not called yoga, it's called the
Right.
sundown, called
Right.
and the opportunity to share and give and
Right.
donate to
Mm-hmm.
these incredible nations that have, if we can, again, going back to the 7 ancestors before us,
Mm-hmm.
if we can just take this into a daily rhythm of its own, it will become your lifestyle. So then
Mm-hmm.
24/7, even, there's no rules. So bless everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
Bless, bless it all. May it serve my highest purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, Light on Kundalini, and I have a shop there. So my book
Mm-hmm.
I'm publishing my manual. This isn't published by me, but Light on Kundalini is publishing the manual. And it's going to be
Wonderful.
super. And the audio is coming out. And I just listened to the woman who got hired to read it and loved her. Love what
how
she's done.
easy. Yes.
So easy. My publisher just sent her yesterday my way, her voice yesterday. And of course, I had to check her out and thought,
Right.
perfect. I wanted to see her integrity. I wanted to see what prioritizes the actor. I wanted to see if she would get what I could, what I wrote in here. Because it's hard to take things off the page and feel them. And yeah, I hope they, yes, this is probably, so the audio is on its way out, is coming out soon too, through Sacred Stories and Light on Light.
And Light on Light. All right, darling. Well, thank you for stopping in. We've enjoyed talking about your book. We're going to take a break, guys, and we'll be back to handle our other segments, okay?
Bye, dear. Thank you.
Bye, darling.
Bye.
Love diving into metaphysical topics, psychic insights, and lively discussions? Now you can help keep the conversation going. By becoming a Patreon supporter of The Psychic Coffee Shop, you'll gain access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and special perks just for our patrons. Join our community and ensure that your favorite psychic show continues to thrive. Your support helps us bring more enlightening episodes, special guests, and deep dives into the world of the unseen. Become a patron today and enjoy a cup of wisdom with us every week. Click the link to join the baristas and unlock exclusive content. Thank you for your support.
Unlock your full potential with Aeson Knight's life coaching. Are you ready to take control of your life and manifest the future you deserve? Aeson Knight, a seasoned life coach and master psychic, is here to guide you on a transformative journey. Whether you're navigating personal challenges, career transitions, or seeking spiritual growth, Aeson's life coaching services offer tailored guidance to help you achieve your goals. With Aeson by your side, you'll discover the tools to overcome obstacles, embrace your true self, and create a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. His unique blend of spiritual insight and practical coaching empowers you to turn your dreams into reality. Ready to make a change? Book your session today and start your journey to a more empowered, balanced, and joyful life with Aeson Knight. Click the link to schedule your first session and step into your power.
Are you ready for an electrifying podcast experience that keeps you coming back for more? Join Aeson Knight every week as he takes you on a journey through captivating shows, each exploring unique and fascinating topics. And here's the best part. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode where you can get your burning questions answered live on air, absolutely free. Whether it's relationship advice, career guidance, or mystical insights, Aeson's podcasts have got you covered. When you subscribe, you become part of a vibrant community, engaging directly with Aeson as he shares his wisdom and leaves you feeling empowered and enlightened. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and be part of the conversation. What you'll get by subscribing: Monday 5 p.m. Metaphysics. Today, soulful conversations with Aeson Knight and Firefly, exploring the essence of metaphysics in today's world. Tuesday 8 p.m. The Psychic Coffee Shop. Dive into current events with a psychic twist, featuring special guests and thought-provoking discussions. Friday 9 p.m. The Mountain Bears Podcast. Lively discussions from a gayish, techie-ish, bearish perspective with Aeson and Joe. Sunday 5 p.m. Psychic That Plans. Get a weekly tarot energy overview and time management tips from Aeson Knight. Click here to subscribe now and never miss an episode. By subscribing, you're not just tuning in, you're joining a community of curious minds and ensuring you're always in the loop with Aeson's insightful and interactive shows. Don't wait. Hit that subscribe button and get ready for an amazing podcast journey.
Ready for an enchanting journey of self-discovery? Join Lord Aeson Knight in our Wicca courses. Unveil the secrets of Wicca. Explore deity relationships, rituals, and more. As a third-degree high priest, Aeson Knight guides you toward empowerment and enlightenment. Enroll today and take your first step into the magical circle. Click the link to begin your journey.
Psychic Saturday. Get 50% off with Aeson Knight every third Saturday of the month. Don't miss out. Book now.
Good evening, darling. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you this evening?
Doing well, doing well. It's been a little bit since I've had a conversation with a yoga enthusiast, and I was glad I could keep up with that pace. Because if you haven't noticed, they speed through conversation. It's like, back it back up.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah. So you had an interesting day, and I'm looking at Walmart having a Birkin.
yes, yes. So it's another day on the road. I actually only got home, about 30 minutes before the show started.
No, you came home an hour before.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought I was all right. But yeah, you've had a busy afternoon.
I have. Of course, I rotated my schedule a little. I reopened some evening shifts, and it's been very busy storming Norman and doing the house husband thing, and then a news article hitting my thing that Walmart has a Birkin, and I'm stocking that sucker. Let it come back in stock. Joe's credit card will get hurt.
The Firkin.
No, it is
The
a
fake
working.
Birkin. Oh, it's a
No.
working. We're going with working.
It's WIRKIN.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's the Walmart version of a Birkin.
Exactly.
Yeah, they are
I
supposed
deserve it.
Now, I've heard there's a lot of problems finding it on store shelves, but ordering it is actually very doable.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
And of course, I would want the one that's the color they don't easily have, but that's okay.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Right.
Oh, fun.
Yes. So anyhow, let's kind of dance in because you have an Are You the Asshole? And I need to decide if you're the asshole or not.
All right. Am I the asshole for refusing to take my daughter to her birthday party? My 33 female daughter, Cleo, 5 years old, hates pink. She has disliked the color and almost everything to do with it since she was about 3 or so. She has one pink shirt she likes and one pink stuffed animal, and that's it. My father's partner, Prue, refuses to accept that Cleo doesn't like pink. Over the years, she's made several attempts to push the color onto her. Pretty much every gift she's ever given her was some shade of pink, no matter how many times I tell her to stop. She has tried to give me dozens of different reasons why I should encourage my daughter to try different shades. It clearly upsets Cleo, but Prue keeps doing it. About a week ago, my father invited me, my husband, and our children for dinner at his place. He said he and Prue had a surprise for the kids. Right before we left home, my younger sister, who still lives with our father, texted me. She warned me that the surprise was actually a small birthday party Prue had planned for Cleo. That alone threw me off because my daughter's birthday was in November. My father did miss her actual birthday party due to work, but still. Also, my son turns 9 in March, so I'd figured his would be the next party we'd have. Then she sent me photos of how the place was decorated, and it very clearly wasn't actually meant for Cleo. Literally every piece of decor was pink. The tableware, the balloons, everything. She had gotten pink banners and glued pink foil fringe curtains on the doors. Even the cake was pink. I showed everything to my husband and we agreed not to take the kids there. I texted my father the following. Hey, sister told me everything. We're not coming. We're taking the kids to McDonald's and telling them that was your surprise. You and Prue can come if you want. We're paying. We did exactly that. My father did show up without Prue, but he was cold with us and left 20 minutes after arriving. Both him and Prue are pissed. My father is angry that my husband and I dismissed his partner's heartfelt gesture towards our daughter. Prue also told me that I'm the reason Cleo is restrictive. I also don't like pink, and I'm raising her to be an ungrateful, spoiled brat who is unwilling to compromise. To be honest, I get how I could be in the wrong here, but at the same time, this just felt like Prue trying to push something Cleo doesn't like onto her yet again. My sister and one of my brothers are on my side, though my sister did say I had been rude. My other brother is on the fence. Am I the asshole? Edit. My daughter doesn't know I dislike pink, nor would I care if she did like it.
Here's my problem. First
Okay.
off, here's my problem. One, there's not a respect of boundaries by the girlfriend grandma.
Mhm.
Clearly, that. And I am not for forcing anything on children.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't have to hug me if you don't want to hug me. You don't have to hug Uncle John if you don't want to hug Uncle John. You don't have to like pink because you're female. The other problem I have with this is pink wasn't a girl's color to the late 50s or 60s. Before that, it was a boy's color.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an issue.
Yeah. I'm gonna go not the asshole on this one. I think this is hopefully the last in what seems like a never-ending like desire to force this little girl to like pink.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Prue really likes pink. And thinks every little girl should love pink, and that pink is just amazing and wonderful. And why don't you like pink? So let me create a pink party, and then you will find out how pretty pink is, and everything will be wonderful, and you will love pink. Or that somehow OP is in the wrong for also disliking this color. Right. You know what I mean? The thing is, there are just some colors, and I understand sometimes it is just a shade of a color that people just hate.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, most people are kind of meh, whatever, when it comes to most colors, but so it is kind of like a shade tonal thing. But I think it's also legitimate to just be like, no, I hate this color. Just there is no good shade of it.
Right. I think what you call it is highlighter yellow.
Yeah, it's right there. It's basically that neon highlighter, like yellowish color, and it has less to do with actual highlighter. Like, I'm fine with highlighter. Like the actual physical object when you highlight text on a paper page. I'm fine with that. But there is a version of it that's just one step higher, that's typically called a highlighter neon yellow. And it's one of those shades that just, oh my God, my eyes want to bleed. It is such a painful color to deal with. It's just ow, please no, why?
Because it looks good on me.
Well, and that's exactly it. It's also like, because it's near neighbor, is basically the protective vest, safety gear, high vis, like clothing in yellow. And it's too close. I know it's a slightly different shade, and I get that, but it's right there in the eye bleed yellow section. Like it's technically a couple of shades of yellow that just, oh God, no, get it away from me. I can't take it. Because it just visually hurts for me to look at it. There's also a couple of other colors that I'm just like, no.
Right.
Those have more to do with overuse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of with like designing websites and stuff that it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, for the love of God, no, not again.
Right.
And actually, they're not as much about like either websites I've done, because there is like I am exhausted trying to be creative in purple. Just to be clear, like purple in terms of websites has some struggle.
Right.
But no, there's like turquoise. It's a design color that there's a very little amount of turquoise until it becomes gaudy. You know what I mean? Like there's tasteful turquoise, and then there's holy crap turquoise.
Right.
Like it's a very limited. Like there's only so much of the shade of turquoise I can take before it just shoots straight into what in the Tammy Faye Baker.
Hey, leave Tammy Faye alone.
Okay, fine. What in the Dolly Parton are you trying to do?
Oh, please. Dolly wouldn't wear that much. Anyhow. But no, when we first got together, one of my easiest and most comfortable sweatshirts there is, the best hoodie on the game, was this neon yellow hoodie. Like, it was thick, it was comfy, it was soft. I could wear it anywhere, throw anything in the pockets. Amazing. He hated that sucker.
I do. It's not that I hate yellow. Like, let me be clear. If it had been like a few shades either direction, like more like sunshine buttercup yellow, cool, enjoy, have fun. Like move it a little more towards like goldenrod, cool, have fun with that. But right there, it's just, oh, I bleed yellow. Yellow. I mean, creams, some and pastel yellows, I do really good with. I think they're great and amazing colors. But there is just this nosebleed section, yeah. So Shannon's pointing out, I hate yellow. It has to be like a burnt mustard. Keep your highlighted big bird away. See, now that that could work really well. Right. I tie-dyed one of my highlighters, says Brenda. I tie-dyed one of my highlighter bright hoodies. Looks so much better. Yeah, I could see that working. And that would probably do enough to the highlighter shade. Because generally when you tie-dye stuff, it does tone it down a lot. You pick up a lot of the darker color kind of wants to saturate the rest of the fabric and pull it down a little. So yeah, no, I think that's what I'm saying is it would push it just enough that it's like, okay, we're out of the like the muted brightness. That would work beautifully. I could see that, but no.
Well, lucky for him, it died.
I was so thrilled. He's so upset, and I'm having to look at him like, I'm sorry, your favorite hoodie died.
That's okay.
Like, I did nothing to it. I've tolerated it.
No, it just died because, when I bought that, I was at a 4X. Now I'm down to a medium. They don't counteract quite well. However, I never knew there was a color I hated more in the plant. Like, it doesn't really matter what you wear, whatever. This one goes shopping for a trip. The wedding we're going to. He has lied to me about the venue. He has lied to me about the whole thing. But we're going, and it's all going to be great. And he goes shopping, and he brings home beautiful outfits, supposedly, for this trip.
Yeah.
I never knew there was a color called salmon that I could do better than murdered.
Yeah, he actually hates salmon. Like does he hate salmon? You hid that shirt from me, I swear to God, for like 6 months.
Shirt, shorts, socks.
I was having a whole moment. I was like, not to wear all together. Like I wasn't gonna do a monochrome in it. But like, you know, it was one of those mixy matchy moments. Like it was a Walmart special. They had the shorts, the shirts, all of them in roughly the same tone, in like a variety of colors. Because that's when I got like the I guess more of a robin's egg blue, sky blue,
Robin's egg.
Yeah.
Sky blue outfit. You got a green outfit. You got the salmon outfit, and then you've got that nice forest green outfit.
Well, yeah, and here's and if you notice what he's doing, he put them all together mentally, because I picked up like a shirt and shorts in the same color. That these are, because he does a lot of monochrome with black. So immediately when he sees me do this, he thinks that these all like specifically go together. It's no, that's no, that's not what I'm doing. I do color blocking. Like no. We split colors up like that. I don't typically monochrome.
Exactly. Anyway, he buys them. I am like, what the hell? No.
Yeah.
So they disappear, and then reappear, and then disappear, and then reappear. And then finally, I think they have left the station. All of them. Because the only one out of there I liked was the forest green outfit.
I figure at some point you've probably hidden them in my suitcases in the attic, and it's why they're in the attic.
No,
I never did such a thing.
I never hid them in the attic. It's just you have so many t-shirts and shorts. If I don't want you to wear something, it'll be at the bottom of the drawer. You'll never see it.
Yeah. So if y'all are ever wondering why I would seemingly wear from show to show like the same like 5 pieces of clothing, this is why.
Yes.
Like anything he likes, he puts at the top of the drawer. And it took me it wasn't that I didn't notice. It's that, okay, I'll freely admit on some things I'm lazy, and digging down through, it's stored. Yeah. But it's literally, I have a level of laziness that I used to not dig through a drawer and just accept that some things repeat, and that's okay. And then I got to realizing that, like, I have like 6 shirts, and after I wear all 6 of them, he is on a mission to wash them. And then they are immediately stacked back in. And I'm like, okay, but like, I don't want to wear that again.
Then open the other drawer and find another shirt. Because I've pre-stacked those 7 down.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then it took the longest time to get him to understand that, like, what are those? They're not nylon, they're polyester. The polyester shirts and I just don't get along. Like, the sizing on those, it's really hard to get me comfortable and happy.
Right. But, also you don't get along with polyester. You don't like tight clothing, and I'm like, we need to tighten this up some.
Yeah, really. He wants to pour me into clothes. And I'm like, nope. I don't do form fit.
And I prefer form fit. All right, so we've got a fun psychic advice question. The poll for "Are you an asshole?" is up. You guys get to decide if they're an asshole for refusing to invade with pink.
All right. So our psychic brings us multiple psychics said the same thing. and then one didn't. Hello, this is my first post on this community, and I'm new to Reddit, so please bear with me. The quick backstory is my hairstylist and I got to talking about psychic readings. She's from Japan, and her culture is very open to this stuff. She told me she had a friend that gave readings at the Association for Research and Enlightenment, ARE, aka the Edgar Cayce Center. To those of us locally, he was known as the Psychic Prophet. Anyway, she told me her friend was spot on with readings for her, and that I should go there and get a reading. I was interested, but not motivated. To shorten the story, one day my husband and I are taking a different route home and happened to drive right by the place, and I felt this pull to go there. The following weekend, I stopped in on a Saturday and found out Saturdays were psychic reading day. There was a tarot card reader that day, and she had a slot open. The psychics are all supposedly vetted by a panel before being allowed to work there. When my slot time rolled around, I had no idea what to expect. I was briefed by her, and she seemed a little, shall I say, nervous-ish. She kept saying, I have a very bright light, and she was drawing a circle with her hand around her middle from the stomach and diaphragm area. She kept saying it was a very bright light. She threw down 3 cards and told me that what they meant, which I can't even remember now. She said I had a lot of static around me and a bird sitting on my head pecking away at an egg, indicating that I was pecking away at a problem. I left and didn't give it much more thought. The following Saturday, I dropped in again, and again there was a slot open, and apparently this particular person never had openings on the day of her readings. You had to sign up in advance. She was a palm reader. One of the first things she said to me was, you're not from here, you're an other. She said I had a very high vibration. She also said I could be doing what she is doing if I wanted to do that. I had psychic abilities. I've always been intuitive, and I think I'm also an empath. I can feel people's pain or whatever it is that they are conveying like it's my own. She said this was my first incarnation into a body and that I had no deep lines on my hands. Everything was very light. There was more, but that was the most important part. I signed up for another reading 2 weeks later and got a medium. Since I didn't really know what she did, I just went with it. It turns out her specialty was speaking to loved ones who have crossed over. That wasn't what I was looking for, but once again, she told me my vibration was very high and that I could be a psychic if I wanted to. I could channel information. I kind of poo-pooed it in my mind, but hey, whatever. Those 3 pretty much said the same thing. Bright light, high vibration, could be psychic. And then I went to a psychic / past life regressionist, and she said that I've had dozens of lifetimes here. And the first one she led with was that I was in the initiates program in Egypt. I can't remember which era, 1700s maybe. She said I studied for years and was a really good astral projectionist, and that I worked for the pharaoh and would go into a meditative state and then go find out where enemy troops were and report back their position. But apparently during my initiate test, I went into an astral projection and basically left and didn't come back. She said I didn't die, but there was no spirit left in my body, and the scholars who taught the program were highly pissed off with me as I was a valuable tool. So I had to come back in another life to atone for that one, because I didn't finish what I incarnated to experience during that lifetime. I was also a seer in another life and had some other varied abilities in other lives. Bottom line, I'm not sure whom to believe. They all seem to say I have some sort of gift, though I'm only now starting to look at that, and a high vibration. However, the regressionist said I've had many lifetimes here, and the palmist said it was my first time here. Those are 2 very opposing views. Who do I trust?
All of them, none of them, debatable. And here's what I mean by debatable. By the changing of your hand, you can change the lines, so that's why like palmists really need to play and work and touch and feel the hands. That isn't often done anymore. The reason I bring this up is all this mumbo stuff. Is this ARE teach? Yes, this is ARE teach, but this is student teach. Tell me what I see. Tell me every little detail, not answer my question. What's going on here? So, like the bird pecking on the head, all that is student work. That's show me your work. She didn't need to hear that.
Look, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, now, granted, I feel like I want to take issue with the fact that, like, she's had 4 readings, like 0 to 4. And these are not, so to speak, I wouldn't call them beginner readings. These are kind of like
these are beginner because ARE trained psychics. They're a very good training center. But these are student readings, and I don't think that she's getting that these are student readings.
Fair enough. There seems to be like a pretty heavy common theme of trying to, which one of the commenters on this one points out, there seems like a really big push to sell the product of the classes.
If they even brought up the classes.
Well, but didn't they though?
No. Like no one's going to push her to train there. But, you're psychic. Yeah, it's a bright light. Yeah, you got energy. Everybody has the ability to be a psychic. The question is if you want to train for it. If you want to do the classes and the meditations and the homework. Believe me, Shannon's been in my classes. Brenda's been in my classes. There's a lot of work there. But what I don't like is that these psychics are giving the homework or the student work in their readings. You will never see me say, well, David's handing me 4 keys in a rose, so it'll be 4 weeks before he contacts you. You don't need to know that. That's not important. You don't give a damn about a bird with a cracking an egg on your head.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of like the homework assignments that go with, like, learning to read tarot. In 101 and 102 is there's a whole sheet, guys. I mean, there seriously is, like, when they have to go out and do readings, consensual readings, not just like, hey, grab someone, force them to take a reading. But no, like when they do their readings, there's a whole sheet they have to fill out of explanation of like what cards they drew, what those cards mean, how they interpreted them, like why they may have felt compelled to sort of like the card technically means this, but their interpretation was this, so why is there a difference? Like there's a whole page,
right,
that has to go with that reading. You're not supposed to do that as the reading,
right?
Like, oh my God, no, please, no one needs that.
Right.
Like, that's a lot. But it's a lot about making sure that they understand what they're doing, and it is the show your work section of like being able to explain any kind of differentials.
Right.
Like, this is the card I got, but like it, and not every card perfectly fits the situation, so you do have to kind of intuit around it.
Right.
What's the nearest neighbor here?
Right.
Because you are trying to follow the intuition, the cards are helping you.
Right.
You're not following your intuition isn't helping you follow the cards. Make sure you understand the difference. And that's what that page is about.
Right.
And do you understand what you're doing? Is the ultimate part of it,
Right.
and being able to demonstrate that.
Right.
But no, that's not the reading.
Exactly.
Oh, I've this is like the dental school experience of going in for a psychic reading.
It is.
You know, it's just because if I've had to do this before, I'm sure many people have.
Right.
Because it's a nice way to get some really nice, expensive dental work for very, very. Go to a dental school. Like I'll guarantee you will never get better dental care in your life. It also takes like 3 hours. Like your appointment will go on forever. You know, one, these are students, they move very slow. They're not the experienced, adept hands of someone who has done 1,000 of these, you know, year. So every experience runs a lot slower. There's a lot of explanation and communication about what we're doing and why, and some, you know, corrective steps or you know, pointers on technique and you know, information as you go through the process. It's really kind of fun. You know what I mean? Like if you're sitting there total, like, I'm not a hygienist, I'm not a dentist, I don't know anything about your field, but I'm learning too. You know, that, oh, that's why the dentist does that. Okay, cool. That's why your hygienist does it. Okay, that's cool. You know, it's great. Or it can be if you understand that's what's going on. It doesn't sound like this makes it very clear that this is what's going on right here. So, yeah, I could see that being highly... But then again, this is someone's summary of 3 at least.
3 readings.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe that got glossed over, or it just didn't, like, articulate something.
Right. And it's, you know, and these are decent readers, but they're going through the master program there, and that's an important, and they're showing their work, and that's the whole difference. And this is the hoopla I don't do unless I'm testing. We're not going to sit there and talk through like every little detail of your reading. We're going to answer the question and move on. Now, the debate on how many lives, well, that's point blank, is who has access to that information. A medium is not going to have access to that information. Not sure why she went there. Past life regressionist has access to that information, and you should be able to get access to that information. And I don't know, some of these guest psychics look pretty good. Of course, we don't know how old this is. But no, this is all part of their educational system. All right, let's see if you're the asshole this week, shall we, darling?
Alrighty, am I the asshole?
Ooh,
we have controversy. We have a split. Where are we at?
Everyone should hear, but no, you are not the asshole.
All right. Well, there we go.
Ooh, I love that, Brenda. People don't come to you to hear how you're getting the answers. They come to hear the answers. Yeah, but that's when you can tell they've been in training, as they're doing all this hokey pokey Loki stuff. The number of times I have heard, well, I see a cow with spots on a beach with a beach ball, carrying a trumpet. So you'll probably get a message by summer. And because the cow has opposite spots than the first cow, I would say it's not a favorable answer for you. Hours of that. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, at least it's not a fluffy bunny.
Oh, honey, I don't have time for fluffy bunnies. I have to skin them.
And when we say that, we're talking about the readers that will go through all 78 cards in the deck till they can find a way to make it sound good.
Right.
It's like there's a happy ending in here somewhere. Like they were trying harder than some, unfortunately, licensed massage therapists to find your happy ever after.
And it's like, please hang it up or get a third deck, because that one, they got to start making choices and decisions.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank our Patreon sponsors, Beverly Walker, Mika G, Brenda, Joan Owens, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Caitlin Bell, Devin, and Bella. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yes. All right, guys. You have a great week. We'll see you on Friday.
Bye.